6 tons of rice for the Deamos LLG in Kabwum are still being kept at the Provincial Disaster Centre. The centre's director, Charlie Masange, told MTV 2 weeks ago they had spent half of the 1 million kina in provincial government funding for transport costs alone, and that most of the districts had not provided funding for transportation.
Cost blown chata mi more expensive more low on a mi blog lo try lo salim gonzalo place so emba work if sample like a couple of trips with samba cost and a cost emba in contact more.
Transport costs alone have eaten up much of the disaster relief funding that provincial governments have allocated. The average cost of supplies to feed just 10,000 people for 120 days is 2.1 million kina. And that's just for the basics of rice and tin fish, excluding the transport. Helicopter charges from out of Ley to rural districts like Kabwum cost up to 12,000 kina per trip for every ton. Third-level airline companies charge on average 4,000 kina per trip, but they would need a return load from the location to cover their costs. On Tuesday, after the Morobe budget session, we found the member for Kabwum, Bob Dadai. He told MTV some relief had already been delivered to Deamos LLG.
My DDA, District Development Authority, has allocated 1.5 million because money was received towards the end of the year. We met at the end of the year. By then it was already late, accounts were closing.
But he said he was not aware of the 6 tons of rice allocated for that particular LLG sitting at the Provincial Disaster Centre.
If that is intended for Kabwum, I'll be happy to help them, and I'm happy to transfer them, pay for the freight to give it to our people, so I'll find out about that. Thank you.
The lack of communication between key stakeholders is one of the biggest obstacles standing in the way of getting relief supplies to people in rural areas. The politicians, the district administrations, even the provincial disaster centres aren't talking to each other as much as they should. As in the case of Kabwum, those who are supposed to receive the relief supplies don't even know that relief supplies are being kept in provincial disaster centres. Scott Waide, National MTV News, Ley.